All right, so we're going to animate basically the sequence. Okay, so when you're doing animation, what you want to do is look for the extreme positions. Most of the time, what you're going to see, I say the animation kind of breaks down into two categories. You either have locomotion, where it's kind of continual flowing motion throughout, or you have kind of like an iconography, where um, it's pose to pose. And so you hit a pose, you hit a pose, you hit a pose. Most of the time when you watch people talking, you'll see them gesture and you'll see they'll kind of hit a pose as they're to accent what they're saying, and then they'll hit another pose to accent the next thing that they're saying. And you'll see that they generally coincide with the words that they're emphasizing as well in their speech. Now, the same thing can kind of be held for most motions as well. So there's kind of performance stuff where it's that pose to pose, and that's what we have here. So if you look, she starts with this pose, then you're going to see she goes to this pose, then there's this pose, right? Probably a step back. It's kind of a fluid motion, but I would call that a pose. And then boom, there's one right there, right? And then a step back, and then oh wait, I guess that's all part of that one. Okay, yeah. So there, go to there, and then so she settles there, and then she steps back to where she started. Okay, so you see, there's only so many poses, and all we're gonna do is basically try to match these poses, and then at the times that they are. So first, it's just her standing still. So this is one of those things where if you do have two monitors, or if you want to put this up on a phone or something like that, or you have a tablet, because even though we'll use it in here for the purposes of seeing the frame, what frame it's currently on, it's going to be a little bit difficult to go back and forth. I actually have a second monitor, so I'm going to use that as a reference. But all I'm going to do is just move the pose and put him generally in this position. So I'm going to move this to my other monitor, even though you can't see it. And I'm going to do that. So I'm going to tap spacebar to go into this view. And I am going to basically do that pose. So I'll just push the hips down. The first thing you're probably going to have to do is move your hips down a little bit. So I'm going to move them down a little bit just so there's a little bit of a bend. And then what I'm going to do is move this leg in. Okay, I'll grab this leg. Now notice I'm grabbing this flat part because that will move it in these two axes, but it will not move it up and down, which is what I want. Okay, so we'll go like that. All right, and then let me see. So actually, her ankles are just about touching, so I'm gonna put his a little bit closer. Okay, so you can see his things are overlapping here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab both of these and do the knee twist. And let me see. Oh, did I not put knee twist on the other one? Oh, let's see. I might need to fix that. Let me grab this one. Oh, it just didn't change it. Okay. Whoa, that got away from me a little bit there. Okay, so I'm just gonna knee twist a little bit just so his legs are a little bit apart, and I'm actually gonna push this back up like that, and I'm looking, and that looks fine. Okay, so she has her hips going a little bit more forward, and then this is going a little bit more back. And then the shoulders are definitely down, kind of slunched. So I'm going to put them kind of down slunched. We want to work proximal to distal, meaning from the inside out. Well, that's not inside out. It means closest to farthest, but you can also say medial to lateral. That's inside out. But from this way down when it's FK in particular. So we'll just put his shoulders down. I'm going to put his arms down here. Right. And let's see. That looks kind of okay. And they need to go back a little bit. Click on this one, move it back a little bit. Okay, and let's see. Let's pull this back out. A little bit turn, roll, not a lot, but a little bit of roll here. Okay. Okay. That looks fine, except for apparently I didn't mirror the weights, but whatever. And then her neck's going a little bit forward. She's in a very kind of lazy pose here, actually. Not surprised. And then that will go up. And we'll say that that's good. It's not the greatest posing, but I want to spend a bunch of time on it, okay? So see, that's the first pose. That's great. All right. So now what I want to do is I didn't key any of it. I just posed it. What I want to do is I'm actually going to make a quick selection set. And what that means is that instead of me having to grab every single thing every time and keying them all, I'm just going to have a button I push, and it's going to make everything selected at once. So Oops, didn't mean to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and just select everything. So this is going to be somewhat cumbersome, but we'll just do it to be done with it. I'm not going to grab the eyes because I don't want to key those every time. I don't really care that much. I'm going to hit Q, so it's just select, makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to click on this, I'm going to hold Shift, click on that. I'm holding Shift, click, click, holding Shift, click, 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 click. Grab these two, click, 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 and we probably don't need this one. I'm going to leave that one because that's for positioning. So I think we have everything. Okay, so I grabbed all of the controllers, and now I'm just going to go to Create, Sets, and we're going to do Quick Select Set, and we'll call this Wovi underscore all, and I'm going to switch this to, let me see, let's do custom. Crap. Cancel that for 1 second. I'm going to click on my custom shelf just because there's nothing on it, and I'm going to do this again. Edit. I'm sorry. Create, sets, quick select set, and we'll just call it Wovi all. And I'm actually going to add to shelf, and that's going to put a button there. Now watch this. If I click off, and if I click on this, it reselects all those. And now when I hit S, it's going to put a key. S is the key. It's going to key everything on there. Instead of me having to click on every one of these. Because what I want to do is have everything keyed on every pose. So that way I can quickly, it absolutely goes from one pose to another one. Okay, so that's the idea. All right, so that was the first pose. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to look to see when the next one is. So it's right here. So I got to see, let me see. So generally you want to hit the pose when it's the beginning. So a lot of times you're going to see two is you're going to see them hit a pose and then you're going to hold on the pose. So you see she holds this for a little bit and then she does the next one. So I'm aiming for the first time. So we'll say I'm going to do it right when the heel hits. So right here, we're going to say at frame 15 is when she does this next pose. Okay, so I'm going to move my thing to frame 15 and then we're going to go ahead and I am going to position her basically in the same way. So she moved forward a little bit. And this leg came forward as well. Let's pull this forward. All right. And it looked like this one rotated a little bit. That will stay there. And then her hips did turn with it. And maybe go a little bit more forward. Let's just see, make sure that looks okay. Okay. I feel like that needs to go a little bit more forward. And his hips need to go a little bit more forward. And then we're going to rotate this back a little bit. And this has got to rotate a little bit more that way. Okay. And then she actually pulls her shoulders up a little bit. So the back one not as much. We'll pull that up a little bit. We'll pull this one up a decent amount more. And she also pulls them forward a little bit. So I'm going to pull this one forward. We'll pull this one forward. All right. And then this comes this way. This arm bends basically about a 90-degree angle, so about there. Now notice I can animate this direction, but and you can do that if you need to, if you're trying to fix something, but generally speaking, you want to bend it in the same way that it works. So that means if I bend it this way, it should only bend, elbows only bend like this. So make sure you try to do that as best you can. Then I'll go to this one, and I need to basically make a fist. So let's do not 60. It should be 35, we'll say. Wrong direction. Let's say, oh no, it would be, okay, so say, oops, minus 75, so it curls in, good. And then I'll take the thumb and I will curl that in a little bit. It's about right. And then let's see, I think, pull that this way. Okay, so let's see if that looks like what hers looks like, and it does not. So we got to pull this arm down a little bit. We have a little bit too high. All right, and then I'm gonna take this one. I don't want to waste a ton of time on the posing. Just want you to get the idea of, what we're doing here. Then we'll take this guy, and I'm gonna pull this one up. So this process can be done basically with, let's do -75 again, and then thumb curl. Let's go this way. And then, let me see, her neck is going to kind of turn, go forward a little bit, and then the head also, it's a little better. Although, actually, she had hers tilted a little like this, actually. Okay. I feel like that might be a little much. Okay. So let's see. I think she went down too. Did I push that down? Yeah, I did. Okay. So there's the first pose. Okay, you can kind of see it's not the greatest thing. Let's also, I think this could, if you can help it, you want to try and put a pose on, or you want to try and animate everything on every frame, just because that way it shows a little bit of movement. Just to make sure that everything has a key, I'm going to click that All button, and then I'm going to hit S for key, okay? Now you might notice it was auto putting keys because I have this auto key on, but it's still better to do it the other way. So now you can see he goes from here to this pose, okay? And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to now take this pose and I'm going to look at here and I'm going to go to where it goes to. So there's a little bit of an extra step there you'll see, but we'll fix that up later. So it goes to right to 24. So basically it holds it for about 10 frames. So to copy everything, I'm going to click on my All button, make sure I got all the attributes, and then I want to copy this frame and put it here. So what I'm going to do, the easiest way to do this is actually, it's a weird little trick. You middle mouse button, push, click, and drag. Notice that he's not moving as I'm moving the time slider here. I'm going to go to 24, I'm going to let go, and then hit S. And now it will key everything in the position that it was there. So now he's going to hold here till 24, and then we're going to look to see when the next pose is. So the next one is, this is actually kind of part of this one, but I'm going to say that this is one. She just doesn't hold on this one is the difference. So I'm going to look for the extreme. Generally speaking, you want to look for extreme. So basically when things are at its farthest, most extreme, also where there's contacts. So they tend to happen at the same time. So you'll notice here, foot here, right there is when it's contact. You can see that's also when it lines up for the extreme of the arms. So I'm going to say frame 33 will be my next one. So I'm going to go to frame 33. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make this pose. Okay, but I'm not going to make you watch me do that. All right, so I'm going to pause and do this pose. Oh, I forgot to. Okay, so I did that whole pose. Okay, so you see, well, there's the next one. You get a rough idea. I'm not doing the greatest job, but feel free to take some artistic license as well. That's kind of the point of animating. So anyway, we have that. Then I would just look for the next one, right? So then the next one is, so we'll say, again, you're going to see it's going to generally be close to, if not on, the contact. So we'll say there. So you can see it's basically one frame off. We'll go to 41. So we'll say 41 is the next one, okay? And I'm just going to basically copy that pose again. So same thing as before. Go to frame 41, and then I am going to basically move this forward. Now, if you do make a key or something like, oh crap, that was supposed to be there, what you can do is you can right-click on it and just go to delete, and that will remove the key. Okay, so if you do happen to make a mistake, it's not really that big of a deal. So we'll go up like that, and then let's see, I'll go back a little bit. I think, was her leg moved, right? Yeah, her leg moved quite a bit. Okay, I just want to make sure that I got that right. And then this is going to go here. And then let me see. Oh yeah, her body actually, this twists completely this direction. So let's go ahead and move that this way. And then this time, actually, if we were to look at the thing, we will see that the toe roll, actually the ball roll will be useful for us, as well as the toe swivel. I'm going to swivel it this way. Okay, so that way it's going to go, and then let me see. So this will come forward considerably. Oh, so obviously I'm just doing the next pose. So I will pause it and I will show you what the next one looks like, so on and so forth. So I finished the pose. It could definitely be better, but whatever. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is, if we look, she actually holds this pose for, let's say, I don't know, 48 maybe? We'll say to 48. We'll say to 49. So anyway, she holds the pose, we'll say to 49. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So all I'm going to do is middle mouse button, click and drag to 49. Make sure I click on my all button, right? I need to do that first, but then click and then hit S. Okay, so now that will be held. Now, if you look, if we were to hit play, make sure also, I'm going to click on this. We didn't set this up before. Make sure that you have frame rate is 24 frames per second. Okay. And then make sure this says 24 first-person shooters times 1. All right, then save that. All right, now if we hit play, I'm just going to have this go to, let's say, 49, because that's what it's currently going to. So this will show what's inside of these two numbers. Okay, this is the total, this inside and outside, or this outside one, and the inside ones are what's being visible. And I'll hit play right here, and then you'll see. Okay, now it's not great, right? But we do have the basic poses. So from here, what we need to do is basically add our key in between poses, all right? But we do have a very basic, using that as a guide, the very basic motions, and now we just need to basically pretty it up, all right? So, but this is a good start. You really want to spend the most time on this part right here, because these are your storytelling poses, right? We're looking for silhouette value. There's a whole science and stuff that goes into this that we just don't have time to cover, but this is multiple classes in and of itself. But there's a whole thing with this, okay? So you really want to make sure that these poses look good before you go to the next step. These need to be 100% accurate. Anything you do beyond this is not going to save this, all right? So we're going to call that good on this video, and then the next one I will fix it up and just kind of flesh it out a little bit more. Yeah,